Welcome back, Weather Reconnaissance Team, to another weekly Recon briefing update. I'm your host, Russ Parsons, and once again, I'm thrilled to be back here with you today. Today's July 7th, 2025, bringing you the latest on what Mother Nature has in store for us. We're coming to you live from Parsons, Kansas, where it's partly cloudy, a warm afternoon, but as always, we're looking forward to looking beyond our immediate surroundings. We're going to jump right on in here to our presentation. This is Russ's weekly weather recon briefing. This is where I bring you the upcoming next 7 days of weather. This is a picture of my front yard yesterday afternoon. As you can see, we had some more rain. This little thunderstorm here brought us about another 0.6 of an inch of rain, which is our first rainfall so far here in southeast Kansas, in Parsons anyway, for July. First rainfall of July. As you can see, for July, our grass is fairly green still. Usually it's starting to die out and don't have to mow it anymore, but that's not the case in 2025. We are going to take a look back at last week's severe weather events. The biggest severe weather event is probably going to be the one that everybody has heard about is going to be the flooding events that took place north and west in San Antonio and west of Austin, Texas on July the 5th. We've all heard about that. Pretty devastating news that come out of there with all the folks that have lost their lives. Right around Kerrville, Texas, we had catastrophic flash floods that devastated parts of central Texas, particularly areas near the Guadalupe River. And at the time that this was written, resulted in at least 24 deaths, confirmed fatalities, and numerous individuals reported missing. The flooding was triggered by intense rainfall that caused the Guadalupe River near Hunt and Kerrville to rise 26 feet in less than an hour, reaching its second highest level on record since 1987. That's according to the National Weather Service. I have seen that it has risen more since then, so I believe it has broken a record of how much it has risen and the flooding events that has taken place there in central Texas over this past weekend. As you can see, some of the other events had some severe hail reports, large hail reports in Kansas and up into South Dakota. I believe there was a few more up in North Dakota too. For some reason, this is cut off. I'm not quite sure why my picture is cut off here. But there was a few more events up in North Dakota, I believe, also. Had one funnel cloud here in northeastern Kansas. I believe that was early on in the week last week. But the biggest events was all the flash flooding, which is the circles down here in Texas and southern Oklahoma. Today through this coming Friday, the hazards outlooks once again is going to be heat. Today through Friday, at least, we are talking about some hazardous heat, just like a typical summer here in especially eastern Texas. We will get into what's expected here in the northern plains, central plains, but for eastern Texas, they're expecting some pretty warm temperatures throughout this upcoming week. Today's surface analysis for 7 o'clock this evening. I'm expecting some severe weather here over western Kansas, western Nebraska, and pretty much rain and general thunderstorms over the rest of the Central Plains, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, all the way down into Texas. A lot of pop-up storms and that type of stuff going on right now. We do have a stationary front here in bisects Kansas. That'll be causing a little bit more of that rain. But they do have some ongoing flooding down here, and more flooding is possible in central Texas, something they don't really need, but that is a possibility. The severe weather outlook for today includes a slight, or actually we're up to an enhanced risk in the darker oranges here of severe thunderstorms from eastern South Dakota and down into northern and central and southwestern Nebraska. The yellow shading here is a slight risk of severe thunderstorms. Pretty much all of Nebraska and most of South Dakota is involved in that, and northwestern Kansas, eastern Colorado. And we do have a marginal risk of severe storms, outlining the slight risk here. That includes the rest of Kansas and down into the Texas and Oklahoma panhandles. Tomorrow's surface analysis chart shows pretty much more of the same. The stationary front moves a little bit further south into Kansas and be a focus of some more possible severe storms over South Dakota, Nebraska, and eastern Colorado. This is tomorrow at 7 p.m. But more rain is expected. Rain and thunderstorms expected in the rest of the Great Plains of the United States. The severe weather outlook for tomorrow, Tuesday, July 8th. We do have a slight risk of severe storms, central Oklahoma, and a marginal risk of severe storms in southern Kansas, the rest of Oklahoma, and northern Texas, with general thunderstorms outlined in the green, light green shaded areas. On Wednesday, we're surface analysis. This front that was bisecting southern Kansas and Oklahoma that caused the rain on Tuesday will move back north as a stationary style front. That'll be back up in Nebraska, kind of a dry front as it moves back to the north. Do have some chances of rain, eastern Oklahoma and eastern Texas. It appears everything else will be dry here in the Central Plains. We do have a marginal risk of severe weather. That's something new on Wednesday that they just put out today. Probably includes some pop-up severe storms from Nebraska, South Dakota, and North Dakota, which is typical for this time of year. They do have some severe weather up there in July and August. So we'll see how that kind of pans out along that front up there in that area. That'll be on Wednesday. On Thursday, July 10th at 7 a.m., this is what the surface analysis chart is predicted to look like. Looks like they'll have some more storms, probably along the front, the warm front, stationary front. It goes from north to south, from North Dakota down into Nebraska. And with the green shaded areas up here in Nebraska, North Dakota, South Dakota, looks like they'll have some more chances of rain and thunderstorms. Looks like they'll also have another chance, they're predicting, in eastern Texas mainly, and a little bit in eastern Oklahoma area. Thursday, they also have a severe weather outlook for that area. About a 30% chance of severe storms in the same area as it was on Wednesday, mainly North Dakota, South Dakota, and northern Nebraska. So anywhere along that where that stationary front, north to south oriented stationary front in that area up here in North Dakota and South Dakota, expect some severe weather along with that. On Friday, July 11th at 7 a.m., the surface analysis chart shows that the front that was attached to the stationary front on Thursday is actually going to be a cold front that bisects Nebraska down into Kansas and then back into New Mexico. That will be another focus of storms and possibly severe weather. We probably will have enough moisture to work with along that front to cause us some possible severe weather along that. So that's something we will keep an eye out on. And like always, make sure that you tune in here. I'm going to try to break in live a little more often than I have been on some of the severe weather events and kind of give you some updates as that happens. Saturday surface analysis, pretty much more the same. The front doesn't stick around too long. By Saturday, it'll be here across southeastern Kansas, back into central and western Oklahoma, and back into the Texas Panhandle. That will be our focus of rain from Friday through Saturday and possibly Sunday in eastern Kansas and eastern Oklahoma in that area. So that's something to keep in mind if you do have plans on this coming weekend. We'll likely have some chances of rain in eastern Kansas and Oklahoma. This next Sunday, July 13th, surface analysis shows that that front hangs up a little bit, becomes stationary over Oklahoma and back into the Texas Panhandle. Once again, more rain chances along and north of that front. As it hangs up and becomes stationary, more rain will be likely in southeastern Kansas, most of eastern Oklahoma, and back into the Texas Panhandle once again. The forecast for San Antonio, Texas, on this upcoming 7 days shows a chance of rain pretty much just about on Tuesday, about a 20% chance of rain. That's a good sign that things will start calming down there and leaving some of that rain behind, letting everything drain off and hopefully get back into some normal weather down there. Looks like a high of about 98 Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So it's going to be pretty warm towards the end of the week in central Texas. Move on north to Oklahoma City for the next 7 days. It's like about a 20% chance of rain today, 40% tomorrow, and a 30% tomorrow night. And then we move back into some more rain chances Friday through Sunday of this next weekend. And that'll be with that front that starts approaching them by that time period. And right now they're looking at maybe 20% chances of rain. The weekend, I'm sure that'll probably go up or down between now and the weekend. The Wichita, Kansas forecast, I'm looking at 20 to 30% chance of rain today, tonight, and tomorrow during the day. It's like a high of 95 Thursday, and then they go back down to 87 on Saturday with more chances of rain there. Mostly cloudy is probably the reason that it will be a little bit cooler over this upcoming weekend in Wichita. Looks like the largest chance of rain will be Friday night into Saturday morning with that front that sags south through Kansas. Parsons, Kansas forecast, pretty much more of the same. We do have a little bit bigger chance of rain tomorrow. We'll see if that comes to fruition or not. But same 50% chances of rain. It's like a 50% chance of rain Friday night, 40% during the day Saturday, and 50% Saturday night. And then more chances on Sunday here in Parsons. But the high of only 92. Looks like the rain will probably keep our temperatures back down into the upper 80s, lower 90s throughout the week, which is a little abnormal for this time of year. We'll go on north up to Lincoln, Nebraska. Tonight, looks like they're looking at a 60% chance of rain tonight in Lincoln, Nebraska, with a 40% chance tomorrow. They've got rain chances off and on all week long. It looks like they get down to a high of 84 on Saturday after that cold front comes through. They'll cool down behind that front with even more overnight chances of rain Saturday night and Sunday night. Go a little bit further north to Pierre, South Dakota. The next 7 days up there, looks like they've got a 60% chance of rain today. Their next chance will be Wednesday night at 30% chance Wednesday night, 20% during the day Thursday, and a 60% chance of thunderstorms on Thursday night. And again on Friday. Their highest temperature looks like to be about 96 during the day on Wednesday. And they'll be cooling down to about 80 degrees, it looks like, on Friday behind the cool front that comes through, with clear skies during the day on Saturday and Sunday. So it looks to be a nice weekend for Pierre, South Dakota. Going up to Minot, North Dakota. Pretty much the same as South Dakota. A few chances of rain Wednesday night into Thursday. Then after that, everything looks pretty decent. They're even going to have a little high temperature, 77 degrees on Friday, partly cloudy skies. And once they get through Thursday in North and South Dakota, it looks like they're going to have some decent temperatures for the upcoming weekend. The total 7-day precipitation forecast from today through July 14th, next Monday, looks like the highest amounts of precipitation is going to be here in southern South Dakota, northeastern North Dakota, and a little bit in eastern Nebraska. And then we'll get down here along the front in southern Kansas. Looks like that's going to be anywhere from about 1.75 inches to 2 inches in the darker purples here that's outlined. And we get down in here to Texas area, central Texas. Like I said, they're going to become hot and their rain chances will go down considerably. And that is a very good sign for all the areas that was flooded over this past weekend. The tropical weather outlook for the Atlantic Ocean area. They did have a tropical storm or tropical depression as it is now, Chantal. It had affected the areas yesterday, and it continues to move on to the north through Virginia, and it'll affect Pennsylvania, and then it'll move back on out to the Atlantic Ocean. But it is pretty much some flash flooding right now. They've had some flooding issues, I know, in North Carolina yesterday on Sunday, and that will continue to be some flooding rains as this system moves on up into Virginia, Maryland, and the rest of the northeastern states here. I'm also having some life-threatening surf and rip current conditions in that area off the coast, so any beachgoers should heed the advice of lifeguards and local officials there. Eastern Pacific tropical outlook for today. 40% chance that this system here off of southwestern Mexico will become a tropical disturbance of some type. So keep an eye on this, see what it decides to do. But right now, they don't have any tropical depressions or any other named storms in the eastern Pacific. Do you want to show you that the heat next Sunday will be the greatest for this upcoming week? And that will be here in eastern Texas once again. The darker oranges, reds, major heat risk area in the red shaded areas here, mainly in eastern Texas where I've circled. And pretty much we'll kind of keep an eye on the heat down there in that area. And now for our Beyond the Forecast segment, where we take a deeper dive into a weather topic or discuss a broader trend. Do you remember when a 30% chance of rain was the best we could get? When you'd leave the house under sunny skies, only to get soaked by a surprise downpour an hour later? Well, here in 2025, that kind of weather uncertainty is becoming a thing of the past. For decades, weather forecasting was about looking at the big picture, massive pressure systems, regional satellite data. It was good, but it was broad. The revolution isn't just about being more accurate, it's about being more personal. I'm talking about the global rollout of the Aura weather system. So what is it? The Aura system is a 3-layered network powered by a predictive AI or artificial intelligence named Helios. First, you have the new Stratus satellite constellation. These aren't your old weather satellites. They provide ultra high resolution atmospheric data, updated not every hour, but every single minute. Second, on the ground, we have millions of new microsensors. They're integrated into everything from lampposts to public transport, constantly feeding real-time data on temperature, humidity, and air pressure right from your street corner. But the real game changer are the Cumulus drones. These are autonomous, solar-powered drones that fly inside developing weather systems. They gather weather on wind shear, ice crystal formation, and atmospheric pressure from within the storm itself. Information we could only guess at before. Helios, the AI, takes all this data from the satellites above, the sensors below, and the drones within, and creates a living, breathing digital twin of the atmosphere down to the city block. What does this mean for you? It means your phone won't just say rain this afternoon. It'll say light rain will begin on your street at 2:10 p.m., lasting for 25 minutes. Heavy winds will follow. Your smart car will automatically reroute you around a sudden micro hailstorm you can't even see yet. Farmers can apply water with pinpoint precision, and emergency services can issue evacuation warnings for a specific neighborhood, not an entire county. The Aura system isn't just a better forecast, it's a new dialogue with our environment. In 2025, we're no longer just looking up and guessing, we're understanding our weather second by second. That's just kind of a delve into what the future of weather forecasting might look like. I know we're not quite there in 2025, but I do know that the future in weather forecasting will probably look a little bit like what I've just described. It ought to be a pretty interesting ride. And this is just kind of some of the stuff that I want to make you all think about out there, with which I think is pretty interesting and pretty neat stuff. And with that in mind, that wraps up this week's weekly weather recon update. And thank you for tuning in, staying weather aware with me. And remember, knowledge is power when it comes to weather. You can always stay up to date by following us on Facebook at Russ Weather Recon for additional resources and detailed forecasts. Just want to make sure that you join me next week for another reconnaissance mission into the atmosphere. Until then, stay safe, stay informed, and enjoy the weather, whatever it may be.